Hi friends, it's Nathan, a graduated pharmacy student currently studying for my pharmacist licensing and board exams. Welcome to my channel, welcome back to my channel. So it's been a few days since I last vlogged, and this is the next episode. But in those few days, I'm gonna be honest, I had an existential crisis. I had an awakening, and a very unpleasant awakening, that I am kind of screwed for this exam. To put it into very straight words for you. The way that I've been studying, how behind I am in my schedule, I'm a mess. And we need to pivot. And so I had one of these kind of awakenings back when I finished my first semester of pharmacy school, because the way that I was studying was my undergrad method. And for pharmacy school, the amount of material I had to cover, how important like those nitty-gritty details were, I had to change it. And so I started using flashcards in pharmacy school versus writing things out when I was in undergrad. And we come to that same little situation where these exams, it's a lot of material, but they're not asking nitty-gritties. And so I don't need to be going into details with the flashcards. And so the best way to do that is to have big picture understanding. And so I've decided to really switch up how I'm going to prepare for these exams. It's the only way. It's sink or swim at this point. And so let me kind of run you down on the game plan now. Let me pull up my study schedule and go through it together. Also, look how large this tablet is. This is the Samsung Galaxy Tab S11 Ultra, and I just love having a large screen for studying. So here we have my schedule, and I kind of showed you guys in my last video and explained it, but red is high priority, blue is middle priority, and yellow is low priority. So everything that is red and blue, I'm going to just review the lecture, make notes, and then do practice questions. We're not doing the flashcards anymore because practice questions are my active recall. This is great for knowing high level, understanding the concepts. Everything in yellow, I'm just going to review the lectures. I don't have time to do practice questions. In a perfect world, I would, but we are running under certain circumstances and it's sink or swim at this point. I just also wanted to show you guys how far behind I am in my studying. So today is the 18th of October. I should be on day 14 of my studying. I'm currently on day 8. I don't know how it got to this point, that I'm like 1 week behind, but I do think we can catch up. It's not our first rodeo. We're gonna get through this together, so let's begin. We finished cardiology, and so now we're gonna be moving on to infectious disease. So we have topics like pharyngitis, otitis media, which is just ear infection, STIs as well, anything viral. So yeah, that's the plan. I'm gonna be honest and tell you that infectious disease is not my strong suit. It's not my worst therapeutic topic, but it definitely is not my best. It's just really hard to translate in my head, in the sense that I can study it and I'm pretty sure I know what the algorithm is, but then when it comes to actually doing it on an exam, it gets so complex, and like there's so many other patient factors at play that it just gets really scrambled up. So we're gonna try my best. Realistically, I know that I probably won't get as many points in this particular section. So it's just something that I'm aware of, and you play to your strengths, right? So let's get into infectious disease. I say let's get into infectious disease, but I do not want any infections on my end, okay? I have to stay healthy and ready for this exam.
Another fair relationship, guess it's back to situationships, till this whole dying soul feels half alive.
We've now reached the most dreadful part of my studying, which is memorizing the antibiotic spectrum. This is a lot, I know, so let me explain what it is. This is a chart that shows which antibiotics are effective against which bacteria. And how am I gonna memorize this? The fact that it's visual is gonna help us. So I use a technique called mental cheat sheet. The mental cheat sheet, what we're gonna do is ingrain this in our head, learn it, and then at the beginning of our exam, we're given a piece of scrap paper. So I'm going to draw this chart out on the scrap paper and have it to refer to ongoingly. And I recommend that instead of having to think about the information each time you see a question that relates to it. That'll take maybe like 3 minutes per question versus spending maybe 5 minutes at the beginning and having this just to refer to it like this. And how am I going to learn a chart like this? I'll show you. I'm going to split screen and put the graph up at the top and then Samsung Notes at the bottom. And referring to the top, I'm just gonna draw this over and over and over again until I have it down and memorized. And because the Tab S11 Ultra is so powerful, I'm able to multitask and do both of these at once, which is really efficient. So let's get drawing.
I've looked for opportunity from East LA to Tennessee, and I hope it comes by 2025. There's a 4-way stop on a one-way road.
I am a little bit of a neat freak when it comes to my penmanship and notes, so I love that my lines auto straighten and then my writing stays really natural because of this S Pen, which is now hexagonal, so it's super comfortable to write with. And it does come with the device, so I didn't have to purchase it separately, which is fantastic. I'm finally done, and I think it took me like 9 iterations to finally have it down solid, and so I'm really glad that I did not have to mess with pen and paper and just waste all that material. I could just do it again and again here. I'm gonna eat lunch now and get myself my second cup of coffee. I haven't drank 2 cups of coffee in a long time, but I feel like the studying just requires it. I do get some crash outs, I'm not gonna lie, in the evening. Look how pretty it is, and then we'll do a little mix and a taste test. So good. And then I have my Vietnamese bun. I don't eat these often, but when I do, it's like such a treat because they just have such good flavor. They have like cold cut meats here with pickled carrots and cilantro and radish, and it's so good. And I always get the spicy kind as well. I've noticed that whenever I get a question involving a patient that is pregnant or breastfeeding, I get so nervous to answer it because it's complex. I mean, there are drugs where you absolutely cannot use because it would harm the baby, or there's drugs that you can use that are safe, or drugs that you could use but you should avoid it or be cautious due to lack of evidence, and it's just really messy. So I want to just see what's up to date with all the latest studies for what is safe and what's not safe. So I'm going to use Google Gemini and AI Assistant to help me do that. I'm going to use the deep research tool and ask my prompt, and it's going to give me a research plan. So let's start research. It's currently researching all these sites for me. We got FDA, we got journal articles. My research is done, so I'm gonna go through it now, and I should have a very strong understanding by the end of it. Now, I'm looking for a specific drug that is a little controversial that I was hoping they would talk about. Ooh, here it is, macrolides. So macrolides are controversial because the data can be interpreted as safe, but we should avoid it regardless. And they have the research linked here. It's a 2025 study from the Journal of Pharmacotherapy. I save so much time by doing this, but I still look at the sources individually and analyze the data myself. With my science background, I know how important it is to always double check. If you know, this spaghetti is amazing. It's like sweet, it's smoky. Of course, it has like the sausages. It's not like traditional Italian whatsoever. It's Filipino style. Just finished taking a shower and I feel so much more refreshed. Now we are back and I'm ready to do this practice quiz on anxiety therapy. So let's give it a try and see how we feel.
If this is truly meant for me.
I changed my shirt because I was starting to sweat, and you guys know that I sweat when I'm nervous. The quiz went well. I got a 7 out of 10, but a lot of the answers that I was getting right, I was wishy-washy on, and so I want to reinforce my knowledge. So I'm going to do some more memory work here, just kind of drawing out tables. So I'm going to try to recall which bacteria are in which class, and so even if I don't know what the first line, second line is for a specific pathogen, I can go in another way, like another route to get to the right answer by knowing what class the bacteria is and then what drug is applicable to that class from the spectrum. So it's just the backup method.
Why the hell am I still out here waiting? Don't know why the city lights don't shine on me. Break my back and grind my teeth for pain.
I've decided to end my studying and just pick up where I left off tonight, tomorrow morning, because I was just getting really overwhelmed with how far I am in my study schedule. And I don't want to keep bringing this up because it's a negative and what's done is done and we can't change it. So there's no need for me to talk about it. But it does kind of eat me up. It's like a little thing at the back of my head that just keeps reminding me like, I almost like I'm set for failure because of this, but I'm not. I still have the power to change. I still have, I think, 19 days before this exam. Like, I still have the power to do, however, and change the outcome of these exams. So I'm just keeping true to that thought. Also, when I was brushing my teeth, I was watching one of my old study blogs, actually one from Infectious Disease Week, and it was just so wholesome to see Nathan so positive, studying all this for the very first time. And I even said, "Oh yeah, I feel really good about the exam," and the exam turned out awful. We did end up passing, but it was not great, and that's how I realized infectious disease is really not my forte. But just seeing that brought some positivity. You guys always say you watch my old study blogs, even though they're like 2, 3 years old or whatever. I did that too, and I get it completely. It is really nice to look back on those, and they still give me just as much motivation as they did when I posted them. I will have a good night's sleep because I need it, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
I can never go back to you. But what's another night worth to you?
Good morning. I'm feeling a lot better today, but I will say my skin isn't doing the best. I have a lot of breakouts around my mouth, and I know this is from stress because I did not have pimples prior to these exams. So that's just fantastic. I do create more oil, like production, when I am stressed, so I know this has to be the reason. But other than that, my health is okay. I'm sleeping enough. I'm just trying to just keep my mental space clean and positive. I try to do meditation in the morning just to wake up not feeling stressed. It helps occasionally. Do you guys like how you can see me in my phone? Let's go do some studying now.
There's a shade of blue. I'm a lovesick afternoon, but I can never go back. Would you? Would you?
Isn't that the most collegiate vibe ever? It's actually so nice for studying. It's breezy, it's a little bit cloudy, but also a little bit sunny, and it's just like the perfect cozy study weather. Knowing that, I'm gonna channel it, and actually I feel really, really good today. Something shifted in my head last night, and I think I am returning back to prime Nathan, which is something we really, really need to do if I'm gonna make it out of these exams live. So today I'm gonna finish up where I left off with antibiotics, finishing up like the spectra and like the different side effects of the different antibiotics, their mechanisms of action, and then we're gonna go into in detail specific infections, things that I know they're gonna ask on the exam for sure, like pharyngitis or otitis media, and then as well as read through some other infections that aren't as important. So we'll prioritize as needed based on my study strategies. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good.
Yeah, I hate it when I miss that mismatch. I just wanna check out how long we last. But wait a minute, don't wanna wait a minute when we detach. It's like whiplash. I can never go back to the distant nights we had.
I just finished reviewing another slide deck, and I think my knowledge of antibiotics is really starting to come together. It's a lot more consolidated and reinforced. I'm gonna now do a practice quiz just to further ingrain it in my head. If they ask about a side effect of an antibiotic, I'm just gonna say nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. 9 out of 10 times it usually is one of the possible side effects, but not everything. There's caveats, of course, with everything, but it's better just to put that down than to try to guess specifics. So let's do some quizzings now.
Waste time, this and that. No, it took a few months of us to understand. I'm guessing now we both got different plans. Everything feels unnatural, and I'm not thinking rational, but maybe I want closure.
Some of those quizzes were so rough. I got 4 out of 10 on the vancomycin quiz, but thank God that I did get so many wrong because I learned so much from it. And that's the great thing about practice quizzes, that you find out your gaps. Also, I will say that I was possibly set up for failure because the lecture did not cover vancomycin in detail. So again, I'm glad that I was able to get those learnings from the quiz, but they're sneaky. This little thing, they did me dirty.
I wanna be closer. I can never go back to you. But what's another night worth to you?
Look how crazy this rain is. Can you guys hear it? Absolutely pouring. And I did not close my window in time, so everything is wet. Are you kidding me? Oh my god, this is not the collegiate vibe that I was hoping for this morning. I am just gonna switch positions because I feel like I'm a little bit sick of my test, so we're just gonna work on my bed here. I usually don't encourage it for deep work, but because we're just reading through slides, I'm gonna do that, and it's comfortable.
Now your hair's a shade of blue. I'm a lovesick afternoon, but I can never go back. Would you? Would you?
I'm reading through pharyngitis, and I'm on the slide about strep throat, and they're saying how there's possible scarlet fever, but it's rare. I had scarlet fever. I literally turned red as a tomato. That's why it's called scarlet fever. Clearly, it's not as rare as they're making it out to be because I got it. Or maybe I was just super unlucky. But that's kind of wild. I'm also reading that opioid cough syrups are not recommended for those under 18. But I always used opioid cough syrups. They're actually so much better. Like something like Cotriden is way better than if you were to use like dextromethorphan. Obviously, Cotriden is higher risk, but it is more effective. And I do recall having it at like a young age. So I just think it's like sometimes like so funny. Like they obviously have like gold standards. They're usually more like conservative when it comes to the clinical treatment options. In practice, like things you just kind of want effects and you want results, and harm is usually relative, right? So yeah, it's just funny. They put pharyngitis as high priority, but they don't have a quiz for it. So I'm just going to make my own. I'm going to pull up Google Gemini here and then select build for Canvas. And I'm going to upload my lecture slides here. Create a 10 question multiple choice quiz. And I'm going to let it create my quiz. I now have my own interactive quiz to test my knowledge. So let's do a few questions. They had a reaction to amoxicillin. Cephalexin is still a beta-lactam, so there's cross-reactivity. Let's go with macrolide azithromycin. Oh, because it was non-anaphylactic. Okay, I need to really learn the caveats. Even though it still is a reaction, it's non-anaphylactic, so you can use cephalexin. Okay, let's try another one. Productive cough means there's mucus, so we do not want to use an antitussive which suppresses the cough. I would suggest against using those products, especially because they're under 6. Yes! Okay, we are getting it. I thought I would get this question right because naproxen does have age restriction limits, but I guess aspirin is worse than naproxen. But then that leads me to ask, what is the age restriction for naproxen? Because I don't know exactly. So I'm just going to do a follow-up question and ask this to Gemini. So I was right that naproxen has an age limit, but the age limit is 12 and above, and our patient is 12. So naproxen would work for them, and it's not a medication to avoid. Aspirin is the only one that they should be avoiding. This is the tricky part about multiple choice, but I am glad that I'm able to just ask follow-up questions here. I'm so glad I was able to show you my thinking process with multiple choice questions because it really is a skill learning how to do it. Also, I clearly gaslit myself into thinking that I knew pharyngitis way more than I thought I did, but the quiz was able to identify those gaps, which is great. This is the comfort dinner that I need. We got roasted duck with some noodles. Oh, so good.
I can never go back to you. What's another night worth to you?
I was so energized after showering and I was able to get through ear infections. I made notes, but as I was making those notes, I felt the energy start to decrease, and we've reached the point currently where I am so exhausted. I cannot stand to do any more studying, but we gotta get through these quizzes. That's the last thing we do tonight. It is midnight. We gotta get it done. So the only way that I feel I can stay awake is if I'm standing up and walking around pacing. So hopefully that'll get the blood flowing, the brain juice is going, and I'm just gonna be holding this and doing my quiz on here. It's super light and thin, so it's gonna be really easy to do. And yeah, it's just crazy how thin the Samsung Galaxy Tab S11 Ultra is. Without further ado, let's start these quizzes because I want to sleep soon.
Now it is a shade of blue. I'm a lovesick afternoon, but I can never go back. Would you? Would you?
We're finally done studying. Oh my goodness, that has been the longest day ever. And I just want to do a little bit of quick math because we started studying at noon. And I'm going to show you the time receipts. It is now 12:51 in the morning a.m. That means we've been studying for 12 hours. I'm exhausted, but I'm also really proud of the fact that we managed to do this together. And also, on a single charge, I still have 36% battery left. If you guys study longer than me, you're so set because it has 23 hours of battery. You're good. But I cannot study anymore, so I'm going to end the vlog here. I really hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one. If you guys enjoy the series and you want to continue following along, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified every time I post a new video. I'm posting a lot during these times. And if you want to see more of my day-to-day life, you can follow me on Instagram at nathan.woo or TikTok at it's nathanwoo. I'd love to hear how your life is going. I hope it's a little more sane than mine right now. But if you're also going delirious, we'll be delirious together. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Someone